taking the top off of one and being put together to make quadruple steps.
While the original Oreo has that je-ne-sais-quoi, Oreo has more than one trick up its sleeve. So here are the top 15 weirdest Oreo flavors you didn't know existed.
Whoa, this Oreo is rank.
Wasabi.
Ah, wasabi! Wasabi in my nostril!
When you were a kid or discovered sushi for the first time, you probably had the wasabi prank pulled on you. You know, the classic, I bet you can't eat that big ball of green stuff in the middle of the platter bit. Yeah, good times. Well, now imagine that same fiery surprise you felt and picture it coming from your bag of cookies, and that's exactly what the Wasabi Oreos are like. Established in the Asian market in the summer of 2018, the Wasabi Oreos mix the sweet taste of chocolate with just a tinge of heat in a neon green filling. Obviously, the pairing of sweet and spicy isn't for everyone, especially in America, but the cookies were still a raging success in China. We know that wasabi can be good with sushi if you don't overdo it, but with Oreos?
Wasabi!
Oh my God, Bernie!
PB&J.
Peanut butter and jelly?
You've had one packed in your lunchbox every day. You demanded it from every babysitter you've ever had, and it's probably one of the first things you ever learned how to make for yourself. It's the great PB&J sandwich.
Ta-da! Peanut butter and jelly!
Believe it or not, a way was found to combine this nostalgic sandwich with Milk's favorite cookie, and the results were spectacular. Nothing short of extraordinary could ever come out of putting two iconic treats like Oreos and PB&J together to create a one-of-a-kind dessert, and the PB&J Oreos are proof of that. The limited edition Oreos were made of 2 vanilla cookies and a mix of peanut butter and jelly cream, creating the perfect balance of nutty, fruity, and sweet. Even though some of the lucky taste testers did say that the PB&J Oreos might have been a little too sugary to become a regular, the majority agreed that they were worth the try, at least for nostalgia's sake.
Which do you like better, peanut butter or egg whites?
Peanut butter.
Waffles and Syrup.
Hey, it's waffle time, won't you have some waffles of mine?
Why bother to get out the old pan and make a mess in the kitchen when waffles and syrup Oreos are a thing? Or at least they were back in 2017, and it was every brunch fanatic's dream come true. Oreo put together the buttery taste of waffles and the sweet maple flavor of syrup in waffle-like wafer cookies using the regular golden Oreo wafers and a white and brown cream layer for a perfect early morning snack.
Actually, that sounds delicious.
When Nabisco first released these cookies, they were to be sold at Albertsons grocery stores only, but it wasn't long until the word got out on how tasty these were, and soon they were selling all around. While these are no longer available, Nabisco didn't forget about their success, and in 2019 introduced the Maple Cream Oreos, which are a pretty good homage.
Waffles! Buy waffles! Waffles!
Peeps.
Peeps?
Oh, Peeps, probably the most controversial Easter candy of all time and constantly waiting in the shadows for their once-a-year time to shine. Peeps are far from being everyone's snack of choice. Yet in 2017, Nabisco still decided to venture into heavily debated territory and partnered up with the Little Chicks to create Peeps Oreos. The festive cookies featured a baby pink-colored cream filling and were available for a limited time only, or that's what we thought. The year after, the Oreos came back again, this time rocking a pastel purple. But no matter the color, the reviews remained the same. Not impressed. We'll just have to wait and see if the Peeps Oreos make another comeback this year.
Bring justice to the Peeps!
Hot chicken wings.
A box of 36 hot wings.
That's what I'm talking about.
Filled with an orange cream resembling the color of hot sauce with a fake chicken taste, the hot chicken wings Oreos were just as weird as they sound.
Your chicken wings weren't chicken.
Let's just say they didn't exactly have the same positive response as their green companions. The reviews were, for the most part, mixed, as expected from a peculiar flavor combination like this. Apparently, while they were pleasantly spicy, people didn't seem to think that chocolate and buffalo wings could make a good pair, which kind of makes sense when you think about it. Sweet and salty usually go hand in hand, but perhaps these two flavors were a little too different to do either of them justice. But still, nice try, Nabisco. Watermelon.
Ooh, watermelon!
There's nothing like a nice, refreshing slice of watermelon on a hot summer day. But what about watermelon-flavored things? Can they be just as refreshing?
Can they?
This was a question Nabisco tried to answer back in 2013 when it released the Watermelon Oreos. Trying, and kind of failing, to recreate the cooling sensation the fruit procures, the Watermelon Oreos were definitely some of the weirdest cookies yet. However, that didn't stop them from delivering a surprisingly fruity and satisfying flavor. Armed with a bright pink and green filling and 2 vanilla wafers, the Watermelon Oreos were released nationwide for a limited time and left a lot of people pleasantly surprised by the uniqueness of the cookie. Instead of tasting like the classic fake watermelon flavor, these were apparently more on the natural side, making them just the right amount of sweet. According to an Oreo spokesperson, they chose watermelon because it was a fun summer flavor that went great with the golden Oreo cookie, and we can't argue with that.
Watermelon.
Candy corn.
Oreos with candy corn filling. Holy hell yes!
Here's another time Oreo tried to change the fate of a divisive candy, this time from the spooky season of Halloween. You guessed it, they tried to make candy corn Oreos a thing in 2012, and well, not everybody was on board with the idea. Right off the bat, candy corn is a very delicate subject. Either you can't get enough of the stuff, or you hate it with a passion.
Not the candy corn crap.
There doesn't seem to be any middle ground. The same principle applied to these Oreos. The overly sugary cookies were filled with an orange and yellow cream that, based on what the reviews stated, tasted like vanilla more than candy corn. So at the end of the day, if you weren't a fan of candy corn, you could still give these a try, but if the sweetness of the candy is what rubbed you the wrong way, then maybe opting for the traditional Oreos was the better choice.
Are those candy corn Oreos?
Banana split.
Banana!
Back in 2013, if you had a sudden banana split craving, you didn't need to hop online to find the nearest ice cream parlor. All you needed to do was go to your pantry and grab a couple of banana split Oreos, and you were good to go. It might be hard to imagine how you could stuff so many different flavors into one tiny cookie, and yet Nabisco somehow found a way to make it work.
Really?
One side of the creamy filling was pink and strawberry flavored, while the other was yellow with a banana flavor. As for the cookies, one was chocolate and one was vanilla, adding the finishing touches to the epic snack. While they were a limited edition offer, word on the street is the banana split Oreos might still be available from limited retailers. You just have to know how and where to look.
I'm a banana.
Marshmallow Crispy.
Extra crispy.
If, as a kid, you had trouble choosing between snacks, this would have been the perfect solution for you. In 2014, Nabisco released the Marshmallow Crispy Oreos, which were basically a fusion of 2 junk food favorites, Oreos and Rice Krispies treats. Technically, this mix isn't so crazy or weird. We see marshmallow treats with crumbled up Oreos on top all the time. But it's the other way around that sounds kind of hard to pull off. Indeed, the cookies were made of 2 golden Oreos wafers and had a marshmallow-flavored cream made of small granules of crisped rice. The majority of the reviews on these hybrid treats were rather positive, saying the filling was somehow fluffier, more satisfying than in the regular Oreos.
So fluffy.
There have been talks online about this flavor possibly making a comeback soon, which would be amazing. But for now, there is no definite proof of an imminent return.
Give me one of those marshmallows.
Swedish Fish.
Fishy, fishy.
Oreos are good. Swedish Fish are good. But does that mean that the two should in any way, shape, or form be combined? Probably not. But that didn't stop Nabisco from trying its best to make Swedish Fish Oreos work. They were launched as a limited-time offer in 2016, and while intentions were good, the response was not as overwhelmingly positive as the company had hoped. That was mostly because, in addition to sounding like they would taste artificial, they did. A reviewer online even said the cookies tasted like cherry cough syrup. Ouch.
Disgusting.
Definitely the last thing you'd want your cookies to remind people of, but with a neon red Swedish Fish flavored filling, it's hard to imagine anything else. These might have been the perfect cookies for you to bring to a Halloween party to scare everyone, but other than that, maybe it's not a bad thing they were discontinued.
No Swedish Fish?
Not today.
Fireworks.
¿Qué?
Yo necesito el firework espectacular.
4th of July is very serious business in America, and since one of the most common ways to celebrate it is with fireworks, in the summer of 2017, Nabisco had a brilliant idea. Or shall we say, an exploding idea. Fireworks Oreos. They were basically regular Oreos, only they had a little extra pop added to them to make them a bit more festive. Pop Rocks.
I got some Pop Rocks because I always wanted to see a baby eat Pop Rocks.
The little candies were stuffed right there in the cream to create a popping sensation, most likely to make you feel like the party was going on inside of your mouth as well. Naturally, this peculiar feeling wasn't appreciated by everyone, and the critics were pretty mixed. Some people loved it and others couldn't stand it. But either way, Fireworks Oreos gets an A for effort.
That was good. Let's get another one.
Caramel Apple.
Made from apples like these.
The best part about going to the fair is all the food you get to stuff your face with, and caramel apples are usually pretty high on just about everyone's list.
Apples, apples, apples!
But since you can't always go to the fair, and caramel apples are extremely bad for your teeth, Nabisco came up with the perfect alternative. Caramel Apple Oreos came out in the fall of 2014, just in time to beat out the pumpkin spice and become the new flavor of the season. They featured golden Oreos as well as a combination of green apple and caramel-flavored filling, each occupying one side of the cookie. Contrary to the majority of the Oreos on this list, the caramel apples were actually so popular they were brought back the year after and stayed on the shelves a total of 2 fall seasons in a row. You know what they say, good things come in 3, so maybe we'll be lucky enough to have these in our stores once again.
What do you take on your
Apples, apples, apples.
Kettle Corn.
Hey man, you like Kettle Corn? I'm trying to get rid of anything crunchy.
Unlike other weird flavors on this list, this one was not invented by Nabisco, but rather by an Oreo fan. In 2018, the company held the My Oreo Creation contest for people to vote on their favorite fan-created Oreo flavor,
where the fans are in charge.
And Kettle Corn made it to the final round. Of course, popcorn-flavored cookies might not sound like the most appetizing snack, but apparently the thick and fluffy cream compensated for the lack of pep in the flavor. Stuffed with puffed millet bits, the Kettle Corn Oreos had the satisfying crunch of popcorn and the sweet taste of Oreos all in one bite. However, no matter how good they were, in the end, they didn't win the competition.
What a shame.
Cherry Cola.
Cherry darling.
Curious to know which flavor won first place in the My Oreo Creation contest? Well, the final choice, and arguably the most interesting one, was Cherry Cola Oreos.
That's weird.
Similar to the firework Oreos, these cookies contained popping candy, which was meant to mimic the mouthfeel of a carbonated soda beverage. Along with the fizzling effect, Cherry Cola Oreos also had a cherry flavor, divided into a red and white cream filling. Eden F., the person behind this winning flavor, wanted to capture flavors that reminded her of happy summers from the late 70s and 80s, back when she was a kid. And anyone who's tried them can attest that that's exactly what they tasted like. She also received $500,000 as a grand prize and the satisfaction of knowing that her idea was turned into Oreo reality.
Cherry baby.
Rocky Road Trip.
Road trip?
You've probably eaten ice cream mixed with Oreos at some point or another in your life. They just seem to fit right in with just about any flavor. But what about the other way around? Does ice cream belong in an Oreo? That's a question Nabisco answered when it launched the limited edition Rocky Road Trip Oreos in 2018.
Rocky Road?
Now, of course, they didn't have actual ice cream in them, but the flavor was so similar it could have fooled anyone. Rocky Road is a pretty beloved ice cream flavor, so when the news of an Oreo version came out, people went wild. They featured a rich chocolate filling as well as little marshmallow bits, making this basically every Rocky Road lover's dream cookie.
I wish to eat Rocky Road.
Try out more great videos, just tap or click. First time here, then leave us a comment, hit that subscribe button, and ring that notification bell.